Good morning, everybody out there. Hopefully it's been a good day for you, and it's a good day for me. So I got an email that asked me to show my favorite way that I do appliques. So it's not the same for everybody, but it's certainly the same. This is my very favorite way to do applique. I try to limit my specific hand sewing nowadays, since I've started really liking to do cross stitch. So I save my hand sewing, unless of course I have binding. I save my hand sewing for my cross stitching. So I've started pretty much whenever I have to do applique, I have pretty much done it just one way as of late. Before, I have done projects where I've sewn pieces on and done where you pull it around the edge, and it's a nice clear way of doing it. It's very nice that way too. There's so many ways of doing applique that whatever way works best for you is the best. For me, and from what I've seen other people do, this is not only the easiest way to do applique, but it's the fastest. So I usually tell you, slow down, enjoy your projects, have fun, and do all that. That only goes so far for me. I do want to get things done. I just like doing it at a pace where I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, then I need to set it aside and either pass that project on to somebody else or let it sit for a little while until I maybe get in a different mood and I can come back to it and fix it. So I'm going to show you real fast what my favorite method is. Okay, so this method is really nice. You buy this paper that's, I buy Heat and Bond. I like Heat and Bond. I like the way it works, but I know there's Pellon out there. There's lots of other brands out there. But Heat and Bond has several different weights to it for what you can do with this adhesive paper. This, to do applique, you need a double-sided. So if I peel this away a little bit, you'll be able to see there's the paper that I draw on, and I'll show you that in a second and explain that. And then this is one side that when it's heated up, it will glue to the fabric. And then this is the other side, and it's kind of bumpy, where the adhesive side that goes to the fabric is very smooth. This side is bumpy. So what you do is you buy your Heat and Bond. My most common Heat and Bond to buy is light Heat and Bond. It's a really good amount for me to use. It's pretty light. You can't really feel it on your projects once it's done. So it's pretty nice. There's also a wash away that I've used before that I like, but this one is the one I use the most. So what happens? You buy this Heat and Bond, and I'll link it down in my box on YouTube. I will link it down there, and probably you can find it on Amazon. You can find it on any of your local stores. Of course, your local quilt shops. All of those places will always sell either Heat and Bond or Pellon, I think, are the most common. So if you get a project, I'll show you what I'm doing right now. This is the Temecula album that I've shown you in the past few times on my wall. So this is all applique right here. All of this friendship, this leaf, these are all individual pieces. So what an applique is it's individual pieces that you're going to put on top of your actual fabric. Instead of these pieces over here, these are all pieced. So these are all two fabrics that you sew together, and it makes one flat area. This is an applique where I would sew on top of some of these. This time it's just on top of my background fabric. So So what happens is when I get this, I'll get some patterns. So here is, for instance, the pattern from this applique. From this applique that says friendship, I get this one that also says friendship, and then this is the applique, and then there's one more sheet that gives me the flower that I'll use. So you have to decide when you do these. This is meant for a more advanced quilter, this project, and so they expect that you already know how to do an applique. So they don't give you any instructions for doing that. They just tell you to applique these things. So that means that you can use any type of applique that you want. So I am going to use the heat and bond applique process, which is the double-sided applique, and then I'm going to sew all the way around the applique pieces with my machine. So what that means is that you actually have to reverse the project for the applique project I'm going to do. So how I do that is I have a light box, and I just turn my paper over, and I copy onto the paper side of my heat and bond. So it's a pretty simple process. With my light box, I can see through this. This is very thin. You can already kind of see through it. It's very thin. And so I just copy, which is exactly what I've done here. So on here, it's going to look the wrong side. But when I go and I pick my fabric, so once I have this done, I'm going to, let me pull my scissors. With this project, I don't bother not using paper scissors. It's fine. This is not going to hurt my scissors, so I just will use whatever is on hand. So I'll cut this piece out. And then I know for this piece, I am going to use a brown fabric. So let me pull the brown out of this. So for this vase, I'm going to use brown fabric. So I'm going to find some fabric that fit. So this actually fits just perfect. So I want my vase to be brown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my project and I'm going to turn this upside down, take my right side up piece of heat and bond, and I'm going to put it right there, and I'm going to take an iron and I'm going to iron this. And each heat and bond has a different thing, so you read your instructions, but I usually hold it down for about 3 to 5 seconds. And then I have my piece. It's very cool. So I have another project over here that I've been doing, and I'll pull this off for you. I've been doing these leaves for a different project, and I did the same process here. So now, since I've already ironed these pieces down, I'm going to pull one off for you and let you see. It's very, very simple. If I can get it. Okay. Oops. I apologize. Usually these come off, but this has been on here for a little bit. I haven't really done the project very much. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to try to have you be able to see. Do you see how this is? It's shiny now. You can kind of see a glare, a shininess to this fabric. So this has my heat and bond on it. And this side is my actual fabric that I want to use. So now, whenever I'm ready, I will just put my pieces in the way that I want them to go on my fabric that I'm doing. So if I was going to want my vase and my friendship to be on this fabric, you just take the piece here, and when I'm ready, I just iron that in place, and then I sew around it in whatever kind of stitching you want to do. I tend to use a blanket stitch to go all the way around it. So if you have any questions or want to know a more detailed idea of what this is, please let me know, and I will be happy to show you the entire process from start to finish. And I can also show you some of the other ways of putting on an applique, and also the fussy cutting to figure out. Fussy cutting is just where you choose one part of a fabric and you want that to be your focal point. Usually that happens whenever you have fabric that has lots of pictures on it, or large flowers or things like that, that you would like that specific spot to be on your program. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'm loving the questions. Thank you so much. It's helping me figure out what you would like to know and see. So if you want to know something, please either post it in your comments or send me a message. All right? We'll talk to you guys later.